So today we're going over whiskey store picks, specifically bourbon and rye. Now before we continue, I have to admit that store picks have been some of the best whiskeys I've had. That's barring some of those really rare bourbons, Pappy, B-Tac series, for birthday bourbon from Old Forester. Those are all really good as well. But I think when it comes for the value, some of the best picks I've had are those Elijah Craig 12 years, 94 proof. There's just a lot of variation when it comes to store picks, and that's why they're so sought after and usually come with a higher price tag when it comes to secondary. Now, what is a store pick? Essentially what a store pick is, this is a prime example of what a store pick is. This Old Elk. This Old Elk was selected by Stafford Beverage. That is a local store near me. That means that the owner of that store gets some whiskey barrels sent from Old Elk, and they specifically selected this barrel for his store. Now, that is what I always thought a store pick was. When you see a store pick of Elijah Craig, a store pick of Weller Full Proof, I always thought, oh, they got to go into the place and select the specific barrel they wanted. Well, not too fast. There is some differences, and all three of these barrels are different. They are all store picks or picks of the specific barrel, but they're different. Now, let's explain the different types. We'll begin with the most common one. Again, Old Elk, Stafford Beverage. I explained earlier, the owner gets sent samples of that barrel and he gets to choose what he wants to sell at the store, and they put his label on it. Therefore, you're getting a store pick of that barrel. When that barrel runs out, you're not getting that whiskey again. And that's why they're sought after, because you could have a very good store pick and once it runs out, it's done. You're not getting it again. Now, compare that to Weller Full Proof. This is a store pick from a specific liquor, but this is where the difference is. Some companies like Buffalo Trace will send, hey, this is your barrel for your store pick. The manager, the owner has no say on what type of barrel they're getting. Let's keep that in mind. Say you have your perfect spot you like to go to, you have your local liquor store, and you like his flavor, his picks. This is me with Stafford Beverage. He has a very good palate, and my palate aligns with him. But if he were to get something like Weller Full Proof, it's not his pick, because Buffalo Trace decided this is the barrel you get to have from us. Now, that might not be the case with all the time, but I know for specific areas here in Oregon, that is the case with Buffalo Trace. They send what they have, and they don't get a say usually on what specific whiskey they have at their shop. Now, that's one type. The second type, what's the third type? This is a group pick, meaning I'm part of a whiskey local club called Whiskey Explored. Now, Whiskey Explored, I know the main 5 guys that go and choose these picks. They fly directly to the distillery, they get toured around, and they get to pick specific barrels similar to this one, where you get to choose which bottle you're putting your name on. And thus, this is a group pick, still sort of a store pick, but these two are more similar than this, because this could be, technically, if Buffalo Trace wanted, they could just send you your regular Weller Full Proof and say, hey, it's a store pick. You wouldn't know any different. So just keep that in mind. It's something I learned now that I've been into whiskey for some time. And if you ever wondered why store picks are so sought after, why they have a higher price tag when it comes to secondary. For instance, this in secondary might be $250. Without a store pick version might be $350. Just something to keep in mind. So hope that helps.